I'm ready to get married. Let my brother go." A girl's trembling voice rang out in the flickering torchlight, and every head turned toward the veiled figure who had just spoken. It was Andrew Quinn's 16-year-old daughter. Jackson Harper clenched his jaw so hard it hurt. He didn't believe in raising a hand against women. He wanted blood for blood, but then this girl's marriage to him became the price to stop the bloodshed. He dragged her, still fuming, to his farmhouse. "You were so eager to suffer, huh? Well, I'm not going to go easy on you." His voice was pure venom. "I'll make you pay for my brother's blood in ways that'll break you." He shoved her onto the bed. She fluttered like a terrified bird, but Jackson stopped himself. He saw her only as payment for his brother's life. Taking a deep breath, he reined in the rage. He wasn't the kind of man who hit women. Still, his heart burned. Andrew Quinn's son had brutally murdered his little brother, and Jackson wanted justice, but this girl was innocent. She'd sacrificed herself for her brother anyway. The fear in her eyes shook him for a split second. She scrambled up. Trembling hands braced against the wall, backing away like she was preparing for a storm. I'm begging forgiveness for my brother," she managed. "Shut up," Jackson roared. "You think I'm a weak man who'll melt at your tears? Every day you spend in this prison of mine will be punishment." Emily was shaking with terror, but there was no pleading in her eyes, only helplessness. "I offered myself because I don't want anyone else in my family killed over my brother. That's all." Her voice wavered, yet the words carried steel. Jackson's fist tightened. "Don't pull this sacrifice act on me. Your tears don't move me. Got it?" She was driving him insane, refusing to bow her head and daring to talk back. "You're my wife now. Whatever I do to you, you'll take it. And don't you dare speak unless I tell you to." He grabbed her jaw hard. Tears spilled down her cheeks from the pain. Emily squeezed her eyes shut. "I agreed to this marriage of my own free will, not to give you the right to revenge, but to keep my brother alive. Punish me if you want, but don't make me regret my choice." Those words echoed in Jackson's skull. Could he really torment an innocent girl and still call himself a man of justice? This tiny creature stood in front of him, her fragile beauty impossible to ignore. But the rage was still there. He stormed out, unable to handle the storm inside him. His mother had always taught him that only cowards hit women. Yet he couldn't forgive this girl either. His brother was dead, and now Andrew Quinn's daughter had been forced into his life. On the other side of the door, Emily wiped her shaking tears away. She knew she was a prisoner for life. This marriage was in name only. No love, no mercy, just hatred and vengeance. The next morning, she opened the door to find 2 maids waiting. She hadn't slept or eaten all night. Jackson still hadn't returned. "Mrs. Malik said you're to stay in your room. No going out," one maid said curtly. Emily nodded. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Exhaustion, hunger, and thirst had wrecked her. But pity wasn't on the menu here. She sat on the bed, sobbing over her helplessness. The decision hadn't been easy, but she'd been forced into it. If her grandmother hadn't insisted, she never would have taken this step. Back home, they'd been happy in their tiny house. 4 sisters, 1 brother, their whole world. She was 16, the second youngest. Her 10-year-old sister was the baby. Their brother, 22, had gotten into that fatal fight with Jackson Harper's younger brother, Zane Harper. One of them died. Now Jackson wanted revenge at any cost. But everything here felt wrong. Jackson tried to ignore her, but Emily's presence started a war in his head. He acted cold and ruthless, yet something uneasy gnawed at him. He wanted his brother's death avenged. But the fact that this girl had offered herself as punishment was unbearable. He wanted to drag her to the mansion, make her suffer here, watch her writhe. Yet he couldn't bring himself to do it to an innocent kid. Then her defiance flashed in his mind. She'd walked into this herself. She'd get what was coming. Emily's eyes were heavy with sleep, but her mind wouldn't rest. Fear filled her heart, but she refused to let it show. If she broke, Jackson would only enjoy shattering her more. She'd come here with courage she didn't know she had. This farmhouse had a small, beautiful wing where Jackson usually stayed alone. He rarely went to the mansion. Now another soul shared the space one he wanted miles away from. At his order, a maid brought food. Emily devoured it in a minute. She was starving. Jackson spent the whole day away, only returning at night. "Mr. Malik is home," the old maid informed her. Emily didn't reply. She knew the taunts were coming, reminders that she was a prisoner, not a wife. The door slammed open. Her heart jumped. Jackson walked in. Eyes sharp, face hard. He stared in silence at the girl curled in the corner. God, she was beautiful. Milk-white skin with a faint pink flush, delicate features, long lashes, rosebud lips that spoke volumes in silence. Even in her simplicity, she was stunning. People couldn't help staring. Long, silky black hair spilled over her shoulders, dancing like waves when the breeze hit them. It was the kind of sight that could bring a man to his knees. He tore his gaze away. Her heartbeat thundered under his stare. Her cheeks burned. "What are you thinking, girl?" His deep voice shattered the quiet. "That I'm waiting for your hate to end," she answered. Summoning courage. Jackson laughed, a cold, poisonous sound. "Hate! It's only just begun, Emily, my wife. Hate doesn't fix anything. I'm sorry about your brother. But can't you forgive us? I hope your punishment stops with me. No one else in my family gets hurt." She still protected the people she'd sacrificed everything for. Veins stood out on Jackson's forehead. Where did she find the guts to question him? "Don't build hopes here, Emily, baby. You fanned this hate yourself." He stormed over, yanked her up by the arm and pulled her close. "You did it to save your brother, but there's no softness in my heart for you. I can't forgive my brother's blood. Don't expect mercy." Understand? Her pulse raced at his closeness. She was young, but not that innocent. A man's nearness still made her blush. She drew a shaky breath, eyes glistening but dry. "I don't need your softness." "Jackson Harper! I sacrificed myself not for sympathy." He stared, stunned. He'd expected tears, begging. Instead, she challenged him. "You think I'll go weak?" he snarled. Her eyes swam. Fear gripped her at his towering frame. But she found her voice. "No, I just want any punishment you give to be mine alone." "Don't touch my family." "I'm sorry for what my brother did." His fist clenched. He'd come to break her. Instead, he was the one tangled up. "Shut up! Will your apology bring my brother back? That's what you wanted. Right? Save your brother by throwing yourself on the fire." One hand crushed her arm, the other twisted in her hair. She whimpered, tears spilling, their faces inches apart. Seeing the pain on her face, he loosened his grip and let go, storming out. Her tears reminded him he didn't hurt women. So why was she testing him? She cried herself to sleep, wondering how long she'd have to endure this, maybe forever. The next morning, he found her huddled in the corner again, eyes full of fear and defeat. "Playing brave, huh?" he sneered. "I'll never forgive you. Your brother took mine, so you'll suffer what I suffered." Emily looked up with wet eyes, but said nothing. "Why'd you step forward? Why'd your brother hide behind a woman? That's his honor." He pinned her against the wall, dangerously close. Her heart hammered fear and something else. "You're right," she whispered. "They saved my brother and pushed me forward. But I love him. I wanted him alive. There was no other way. If I hadn't come, you'd have killed every man in my family. My mom and sisters would have been left with nothing." "You have power, Mr. Harper. We didn't have the strength to fight you." He went quiet. He knew how it worked in their world. Revenge burned entire families to ash. Yet this girl had saved hers with her own life. "Clever little thing," he growled. "Did your brother teach you to play helpless in front of monsters?" She met his eyes for the first time. "I didn't beg for mercy. I offered myself." The pain in her gaze threw him off for a second. Was she really that innocent? He hardened again. "Your sacrifice act won't work on me. You're my prisoner now, and whatever punishment I choose is your fate." She lowered her lashes. Being this close to her was intoxicating. Jackson hated that he noticed. Even while furious, he forgot everything else when he looked at her. That's why he kept his distance. She knew how to drive a man crazy with innocence. The next few days were hell for Emily. Strict restrictions, fixed meal times, maids forbidden to speak to her, no leaving the room. She never complained. She accepted her fate in silence. Rebellion was pointless. If she spoke out, her brother would die. Better to suffer alone until she broke or died. Death almost seemed easier. Jackson dropped by sometimes, and her silence only made him angrier. He'd always prided himself on being ruthless, but her innocence, patience, and endurance stirred a storm he kept trying to ignore. Revenge was supposed to feel good. He'd planned to keep her as a slave, remind her every second of her brother's crime. He mocked her, ordered her around, bring food, polish boots, do chores. Emily, whose delicate hands had never done such work, obeyed without a word. A week passed. When Jackson wasn't home, she could roam the small house. One night, deep in thought in his room, he'd been staying at the mansion more, leaving her alone. He wondered why Emily never gave in. He'd been cruel, locked her up, yet she endured everything in silence. No matter what he did, she took it. His patience snapped. Why wouldn't she break? Why did she cling to her principles? He wanted to crush her, but somehow he was the one getting tangled. He'd noticed she stayed quiet most of the time. No fear on her face, accepting every punishment without complaint. Sometimes she answered his taunts, mostly she didn't. He wanted to lash out, but he never raised a hand. Late one night he came home and found her asleep on the cold floor. No blanket, shivering in the biting cold. He stopped himself, then grabbed a blanket and gently laid it over her. "What the hell am I doing?" he muttered, leaving. Her presence was driving him insane. The next morning, new orders. Pack up. He drove her to Harper Mansion. As soon as they entered, the household gathered, eyes burning with hate. "That's the enemy's sister," a woman spat. "She deserves every bit of pain we felt." Someone spat on the ground. Emily stood silent, eyes down. No tears. She'd already surrendered to whatever came. She knew there'd be no kindness here. Still, the words cut deep, but she held herself together. Jackson watched in silence. He knew his family despised her. Yet seeing her humiliated like this suddenly felt wrong. "The new bride needs to learn her place," the eldest daughter-in-law sneered, signaling the maids. Jackson's mother stood quietly. She didn't like it, but the pain of losing her son kept her silent. They dragged Emily away, forced her into ragged old clothes, locked her in a tiny room. Dry bread and water for meals. Maids barked orders. The cruelty escalated. She cried herself to sleep most nights, praying for death. Within days, the abuse worsened. Forced to stay awake all night. Scrub pots, mocked for her clothes and state. One day, a maid shoved her hard. Emily fell, cutting her hand badly, blood pouring. She stayed silent, tears of helplessness in her eyes. Jackson saw it. "Stop!" His roar echoed through the mansion. Everyone froze. "What the hell is going on here?" He strode forward, helped Emily up. "She's our enemy's sister. She deserves worse," someone shouted. Jackson's eyes blazed. "She's my wife, whether you like it or not. No one touches her but me. No one lays a finger on her. I'm the only one who gets to punish her. Understand?" Dead silence. They were stunned. Was Jackson Harper the ice-cold man going soft? Emily stared at him in shock. "Come with me." He grabbed her hand and took her to his private room. "No one will hurt you here anymore. That right is mine alone." Anger and something like concern warred in his voice. Emily's eyes showed wonder for the first time. Something fluttered in her chest at his worry. He cleaned and bandaged her wound, his touch gentler than ever. "I don't know if you're guilty or not, but you carry my name now. I won't let anyone stain it." Was it really just honor? Or was something else blooming in his heart? To Emily, it felt like a dream. Jackson, who'd sworn revenge, was tending her wound instead of raising a hand. Her heart raced. Fear or that strange softness in his voice? She stayed quiet, then whispered, "Why did you save me? You hate me." He met her eyes for a second, then looked away. Those innocent eyes held questions and hope. "I don't hit women, and yeah, I hate you. But humiliating you isn't my style." He stood at the window, jaw tight. Emily stayed silent. For the first time, someone had protected her. She had no idea how long it would last, but it felt good. The man who claimed to hate her had just shown he cared. For the first time, she really looked at him. Tall, over 6 feet, broad-chested, muscled, always serious like he carried an ocean of secrets. Deep brown eyes that could kill. Sharp features, strong jaw. Wide forehead, slight stubble that made him dangerously handsome. Over the next few days, everything shifted. Jackson never left her alone at the mansion anymore. He brought the old farmhouse maid to look after her. If anyone spoke against her, he shut them down. Emily was still confused. His words echoed, "She's my wife." Her heart pounded. The man who'd called her enemy blood was now defending her in front of everyone. The household noticed Jackson had dropped the harsh treatment. He no longer punished her publicly. Coldness remained, but the edge was gone. Love's journey is never easy. One deep night, he stood in the courtyard, staring at the sky. Mind raging. What is this? I shouldn't feel anything for her. Why can't I stop thinking about her? Footsteps. He turned. Emily stepped out, wrapped in a light shawl, walking unsteadily. "Who said you could come out?" He snapped. But something inside softened. She ignored him, gazing at the stars. "The night's beautiful, isn't it?" He couldn't help looking at her face. Moonlight danced in her eyes. Her loose hair fluttered in the breeze. Testing his control. She looked fragile, yet unbreakable. "Don't you care about your life, Emily?" he asked without thinking. She gave a small, sad smile. "Maybe not anymore. The game of life and death ended long ago. Harper, now I just want to know when your hate will end." His breath caught. For the first time, something unfamiliar stirred in his chest. Not anger, not hate. Something he didn't understand yet. If it's not hate, then what is it? "Why do you care if I hate you?" he blurted. She looked at him, heart pounding in her ears. How was she brave enough to stand here? With a tiny smile, she said, "Because I know no matter how much you hate me, one day you'll grow tired of it yourself. Hate isn't the answer to everything, Mr. Harper." That night, under the silver moonlight bathing Los Angeles on the rooftop terrace of the Harper Mansion in Beverly Hills, where the infinity pool shimmered like liquid starlight and the distant glow of the Hollywood Hills flickered on the horizon, a new story was beginning between two hearts. The deep shadows of hatred were slowly lifting. And in their place, the tiniest seed of love had just taken root.